So with the CDC finally basically saying that, yeah, pain management would be a good thing to have when it comes to IUD insertion and other such procedures, potentially. Hopefully they get to that point. I felt like it might be a good idea / time to bring up my IUD story. I want to say I was about 3.5 months postpartum from having the C-section with my daughter. And I went in for kind of a follow-up, one of the generic follow-ups. And we were discussing birth control, and I've had issues with birth control in the past. And knowing that I have ADHD, and that I generally have a hard time remembering to take pills, I knew that the pill was kind of out. So we went over our options, and I didn't like the way Nexplanon had made me feel. It actually started me on having cramps and symptoms that I'd never had before. Depo-Provera and I did okay for a while, but then I started having like infections at the injection site. So that was kind of out. It was just one thing after another, and a lot of things I won't remember to do or take or what have you. So we kind of settled on the IUD. So anyway, we settled on that, and she puts it in. The insertion wasn't horrible, it wasn't comfortable by any stretch of the imagination, and there was some pain. But it was tolerable. And I will admit, I have a weirdly high pain tolerance from a lot of things. But there came a time, about 3 hours later, where I started having some fairly decent cramping. And it wasn't until I had my daughter that I discovered that I'm in the lucky number of people who has back labor. So instead of having your standard abdominal cramping for labor, everything seems to feel like it's in my back. Well, that decided to happen again. And I effectively had a back spasm that wouldn't let go for close to 18 hours that night. So maybe 3 hours after insertion to 18 hours after that point. So 21 hours after the insertion is when I was finally able to not have that pain. And I'm not a stranger to pain, okay? I'm not a stranger to back pain. I've had weird back issues my entire life. I've gone to physical therapy for it, I've lost weight for it, I've had all sorts of stuff looked into, what have you, I've done it. But when that spasm let up, I couldn't walk appropriately. The whole right half of my right leg would not function. I had to swing my leg to walk. It was tingly, it was numb, it was on fire, it was all the things you shouldn't have unless you're having nerve impingement or something along those lines. And that's the side that I'm used to having issues with, so I thought, okay, maybe I just ticked my sciatic off with that or something along those lines. But I was also cognizant enough to know this was worse than my normal. So I immediately set up an appointment with my doc, and I'm like, hey, this isn't right. My normal doc, not my OB. And she looked at me, she did some stuff, and got me an orthopedic consult set up. Orthopedics did their thing, and we trialed prednisone. And it did nothing. And that was kind of his clue to, okay, there might be something more. So he got me an MRI. And I got the results for the MRI that night. It was a Friday night. He didn't get to see the results till the following Monday morning. But I knew the moment I got those results that we were kind of looking at surgery. Kiddo wanted outside. So I'm kind of paraphrasing, but this is what the MRI report said. Large disc herniation extruding caudally 11 millimeters by 10 millimeters by 21 millimeters, causing significant compression of the thecal sac and touches the medial aspect of the transversing L5 nerve root. Yeah. Yeah, that was not good times. So I get a call early Monday morning from my ortho, and he's immediately just like, yeah, so there's nothing I can do here in town, and we don't have any ortho spine specialists in town that will touch you. Yay for being rural. So I had to go down to Fort Collins to have a consult with a spine specialist there. And they kind of didn't want to do surgery. And I had to explain to them, I have been actively avoiding surgery since high school. I have been terrified of surgery since high school. But I have a almost 5-month-old at this time, because it has taken a couple of months to get to this point. Because I had, insurance loopholes, go through the process. It's a pain in the butt. But I finally was like, hey, I know you probably don't want to do this, but I cannot work in the ER if I cannot move patients, if I cannot move myself. My livelihood, my life, everything is on the line with this, and I need help. So I think they realized that I wasn't just looking for the easy way out. I was literally willing to put in the work and the hard part of, not messing up the surgery, and that I didn't want to just mess it up. So semi-begrudgingly, but I think he understood towards the end of our conversation that I wasn't just there for the, oh, this will be fun, I love surgeries. We ended up scheduling it for like a month later, got it done, and the difference between going into the OR and coming out and waking up, oh my god, literal night and day. Literal night and day. I had to force myself to remember to stay stick straight. Tall like a tree. I had to remember not to bend, twist, or turn. I had to force myself to behave because I felt like a normal human being again. It's insane. But that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been like, hey, I need to advocate for myself here, because this is not gonna, I won't be able to function, I won't be able to be an adult, I won't be able to have a job if I don't get this fixed in a timely manner. Because short-term disability doesn't work for those little types of things very long, thank you, and I just used it for having a child less than 5 months prior. So, got all that taken care of, but I think there were some extenuating circumstances. Very specifically, I gained 100 pounds when I got pregnant with my daughter. I had gotten down to just over 200 pounds. And then I got pregnant with her, and on the day I went in for my induction, I was to 303 pounds. And that wasn't me eating crappily, that wasn't any, I think that was just genetics. And all my providers believe it was probably just genetics, because I never had any other issues aside from weird weight gain. I wasn't preeclamptic until literally the day of delivery. And even then, it was preeclamptic and it was cellularly based. It wasn't blood pressures or anything. The relaxin that your body creates during pregnancy probably didn't help. So I had weight gain, I had relaxin, I had genetics, because my family has a history of back issues. And then I had the fact that I've had weird back issues, especially in the L4, L5 area, at least since high school, working against me. And that damn IUD is what set it off this time. It was my body. My poor OB. She's like, it wasn't my ID. And I'm like, I know. But my body is weird, my family is weird. So there's that.